Face reality, people. Movies are dead. Games are dead. Narrative? Dead.
Media is nothing but neural trigger response and viral conditioning.
Wait, what are you two talking about?
All right. Just watched a movie called Civil War. And I think based on the trailers and what people were probably expecting, they're probably expecting more of the whole, social media version of Civil War. Like the shit Tim Pool complains about all the time. Like that version of events. Antifa running the streets and like there's mentions of these things, right? But that's not really the central focus of the movie. Like we don't even really understand why they're fighting, right?
You still don't understand why they're fighting?
I'm just saying, like, they kind of don't really go into that. Me, somewhere around like the middle act of the movie, part of me is like, I'm like, is this about journalism more than it is about like, I guess what people would expect from a movie, like the hype and all that shit. Like, did I call it false advertisement? I don't know. It seemed like it was built towards the thing I'm thinking of, but it wasn't really that.
Like false advertisement adjacent. It's not necessarily false advertisement, but it sure fucking felt like.
I wouldn't even. I don't know. I can't do that because that's not how I watch movies. Anyways, I don't take the trailer and even I'll make guesses here and there, but I won't just run with it. I'll let them present what they have in front of me, and then I'll be like, okay, it sucked ass, like I predicted, or it was better than I expected, or it was different than I expected, or it was the same as I expected. Whatever. That's what I do when I watch movies, or at least see trailers. I mean, like I'll watch a grain of salt, and then you show me a movie, and this thing, not what I expected at all. That doesn't have to be a bad thing, but this thing didn't turn out into being a good thing. That makes sense. For for my anticipation and then what they gave me. I think
I'm right.
it's is it the worst? It's not a horrible movie. It's not a horrible movie.
It feels incomplete.
It does. It does feel incomplete.
But no, it's not. No, it's not the worst thing ever.
No.
It's not Roadhouse.
Oh, yeah, it's different. It's a different story. But this was kind of hyped as like movie of the year type shit, and it was not that. It wasn't. This was an indie movie that they gave a budget to. Straight up. It's an indie movie with a subtle message about, in my opinion, about journalism and from old school style journalism, all different eras of journalism, all leading to modern journalism. And it's this sense of like the younger girl or woman, I should say, who's trying to like capture the moment and be even more aggressive than yesteryear's person. Like she came off like like LeBron James trying to pass Michael Jordan. Like I'll just go so hard that you know. Meanwhile, the older version of herself had to save her ass when she's about to get shot to death.
So you would imagine Jordan doing.
Man, what do I say about this? Because there's as far as my thesis of that this is about journalism, I can point out several moments within the movie that support that idea. From Sammy, the older black dude, right, who's you know, he went through the whole fucking rites of passage of being a quote unquote like a journalist
Yeah.
or an on the ground journalist, right? He has a six fucking sense. He's like, this is a bad place. We shouldn't be here. That's when he like ran over the dude and he hit him with the car and shit. To someone who's been jaded by seeing so much horrible things in the world, like Kirsten Dunst's character, to someone who's green, like you said, she was green, the younger woman, but then she got super eager because I don't know why she did. I guess that's part of the symbolism of the movie to say like, oh, this younger generation, even the way she was like showing photos, like looking at her own pictures she took was through a fucking cell phone. I thought that was like kind of symbolic of something there. I don't even know if that exists or not, or if that's some sort of futuristic machine where your cell phone can read like, old style photography like that. But whatever. And you have Pablo Escobar, who's like, he's kind of all in with the military style. Like, yeah. He's like the Fox News of the crew or something. It's like, man, here's the thing. I'm gonna say this. I wish we could fucking watch movies with people like us reacting to the movies like while we're watching it and just be like, hey, like when we reference something, like, yo, here's this point right here. Here's that moment right there. Yo, look at this moment. This is fucking hilarious, or this is terrible, or whatever. Because when I watch movies, my mind gets scrambled all over the fucking place, and it doesn't make sense. I put it in like puzzle pieces, and you have to like kind of connect it on your own after watching the movie. So, forgive me for the way I talk when I watch movies, but it is what it is. It's for me hard to just write a script like most YouTubers do. Write a fucking script out for it and just give you like a video essay. Like, and it's fucking boring and not conversational at all. And
You were right. You called it from the beginning, man. An hour 40, that's a bad sign.
Well,
It was.
those are obvious things. Like, I think those are pretty obvious things to like point out. It's just I can't explain it too well because it's an art form. It's too scrambled all over the fucking place, man. It's hard to go into hard statistics about these things, right? It's just a feeling you get when you watch something or you recognize something, and less than halfway through the movie, you can tell it's okay. It's not about this political shit that I think people were looking for. There's mentions of like an idea of Donald Trump, right? The culture war and Donald Trump and all that and Antifa. There's mentions,
There's not enough time to flesh out those ideas.
but the thing is, they never intended to flesh that out.
And
That was not meant to be part of this movie.
we learned nothing about the president. We don't know what the fuck happened with him.
Exactly. This is supposed to be about the people capturing those things, like coldly capturing them, not commentators, right? It's not, PSYOP baked Alaska storming the Capitol. It's someone with a camera or a camera phone capturing these events with probably without commentary. But even even the younger generation is still trying to up the ante in regards to that. Which I think is like part of what the narrative is with the movie. I don't know if that's in reality or not. I'm just saying, like, I think that's what the movie is trying to capture. If there's on all levels, something brewing, something changing, a changing of the guard, if you will. And, yeah. Like I said, this is how I feel like when I watch a movie. Like, with Monkey Man, when I release that video, it's scrambling all over the fucking place. I have a point, but I can't quite put it in the words. and it's like, damn, I wish I could watch the movie with someone and point the shit out that I'm looking at, because I think it's a lot of information. It's not. No offense to fans. Apparently, there's a lot of these fans. No offense to the fans of Godzilla versus King Kong, where it's like, okay, some robot wrote this shit, and it's pretty straightforward, and it's dumb on its face. This isn't one of those movies. You may not like the movie, and I will understand that, but you have to understand there is some sense of complication to it. Just like Monkey Man. There's a lot of cliches in there, but there's also a complication to it. There is. No offense to Dune, I didn't see as much complication to that thing. Which is why it's like it's so hard. I think for movie fans, this is some of the hardest reading of films. If you're like into like reading into films, it's probably some of the hardest shit to do right now in this time period. Yes, someone can write a coldly calculated video essay about this stuff and pick a particular perspective, but they're only touching like one, and they're only touching one little leaf on a giant branch that's a part of a giant tree, if that makes sense. They're not really capturing what we saw in the movie, which is why it ends up suffering in their analysis. But I know people like that. They like hearing coldly calculated analysis. They think that means, oh, it's smart. It's like, no, it's a guy sitting down for an hour, hours, days, weeks, writing video essays in a very calculated way and editing it in a certain way. And then, like, you fall for it. Just like people fall for fucking movies. Like, this is what we're doing here, man. All right, yeah, I'm all over the place again. I'll say this. I appreciate that this movie made me start thinking about it itself. I'll appreciate that. Plot-wise, they didn't really give me shit. They didn't give me shit, plot-wise. Symbolically, under the surface, I think they tried to do something there. There's some sort of message there that they're trying to go with. Whether or not I agree with it. There's something they're trying to get to. I will appreciate that. But plot-wise, it suffers. Like, who are these guys? Who's fighting who? Who's on what team? Why are they fighting? What are the origins of the fight? What happened in the the years before this fight? Like, there's so many missing plot lines, right? But yeah, I still think there's something there that's worth investigating. 100% I do. So with that, it makes me want to. I recommend the movie. Not calling it good. Forget about great. It's not in great territory. Sorry. But at the idea of good, it's I still think it's lacking there too, personally. But it is worthy of investigation. Let's call it that. And maybe, one day, maybe I see it again and I give it a different grade than what I'm about to give it. But before I give my grade, if you have anything, Anthony, please go ahead. These movies bother me. But if you have anything you want to say, go ahead. Hello? Anyone? All right, never mind. I would. What do I give this movie? Anthony, if you're trying to say something, your audio is absolutely fucked right now. But my grade for this movie is. Fuck. I'm going to give it a 7.3. 7.3, 7.4. It's slightly below average based on the lack of plot. But if their underlying narrative, let's say I watched it a second time and their underlying message that I'm getting from the movie hits home more, then it could definitely be a grade booster. It will never touch great, but maybe it's above average, maybe slightly above average is the most I can give it with a rewatch. I mean, if it's about, if I find out like they're aiming at this idea about journalism, or not even journalism, maybe just the way like through the lens or medium of journalism and how we perceive the world and the news and world events, if that's where they're going with that, maybe there's room for a higher grade. But right now, with a missing plot in regards to characters and the overall world they're in, the missing idea of like what the fuck world are they in? It's not ours, right? But maybe it's just a symbol for something. It's about the people that are capturing this world that we live in this hyperbolic version of the world we live in. Like, okay, fine. But I will leave room and be patient for that. I assume Anthony lagged out or got nothing to say. Either way, there's another jumbled review. God, I'm staring at planets in orbit. Well, I have this central idea, but I'm just pointing out the planets surrounding it. Review of a movie called Civil War. Enjoy it.